Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Tech Role Decoder. Salesforce Business Analyst, Salesforce Product Owner. Two of the most in demand and least understood roles in the enterprise tech right now. Most job descriptions make them sound like glorified note takers, but they're not. I have owned Salesforce portals, managed Experience Cloud implementations, and sat in both the BA and the PO seat inside real organizations. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what these roles look like on a Tuesday morning, what you're actually doing, who you're talking to, what you're accountable for, and what it actually pays. So, let's decode it. First, why does the Salesforce ecosystem deserve its own video? Because Salesforce is not just a CRM, it's a platform that runs sales, service, marketing, communities, and custom apps for over 150,000 companies worldwide. And every single one of them needs people who understand the business and the platform. That intersection, business knowledge plus Salesforce fluency, is where the money is. Here's what the data says for 2026. There are over 9 million Salesforce jobs globally, according to the IDC projections. The average Salesforce professional earns 25% more than their non Salesforce equivalent. A Salesforce BA with 3 to 5 years of experience commands between 95K to 130K. A Salesforce PO at a midsize or enterprise hits 100K to around 145K. And if you add a Salesforce certification to the BA or PO background, you have built a niche that's genuinely hard to replace. So, what does someone in these roles actually do? Let's walk through the real day. Two roles. Define quickly. Before we get into the day, quick clarification. Because these two titles get blood inside the Salesforce org constantly. Salesforce BA focuses on requirements. You gather the business needs, translate them into Salesforce specific user stories, document the processes, and work with admins developers to make sure what gets built matches what the business asked for. You're the translator between the business team and the technical team. Whereas a Salesforce PO focuses on the roadmap, you own the product backlog for the Salesforce org, prioritize features and enhancements, run sprint ceremonies, and are accountable for what gets delivered and in what order. You are the decision maker for what get built next. In smaller organizations, one person does both. In enterprise orgs, they are separate seats. Either way, understanding both makes you significantly more valuable. A real Tuesday, hour by hour. Now let's walk through the real day actually looks like. I'm going to give you a realistic Tuesday at a mid-sized company running Salesforce Sales Cloud and Experience Cloud. 8:30 a.m. you just start your day reviewing the overnight Slack messages from your stakeholders. A sales ops manager flagged that the opportunity stage pick list isn't behaving correctly after the last week's release. A service team lead wants a new case escalation rule. Your job right now is triage. What's a bug? What's a new request? What's going on the backlog versus what needs an emergency fix? You created a Jira ticket for the bug, tag it as P1, ping the admin. The new request is logged in as a backlog item. You need to write a user story for it, before it goes into the sprint. 9:30 a.m. Sprint planning or grooming session. 2 or 3 times per week, you're in the sprint ceremony. Today, it's the backlog grooming or the sprint refinement. You're on a call with your Salesforce admin, a developer, your product stakeholder. You're walking through the 10 items in the backlog, reviewing acceptance criteria, clarifying requirements, estimating complexity. This is where your BA skills live. You need to know enough about the Salesforce configuration to write stories that developers can actually execute. If your acceptance criteria is vague, the sprint solves. Example of a user story that you might write. As a sales rep, I want the opportunity record to auto populate the account's primary contact when a new opportunity is created so that I don't have to manually search for and add the contact each time. That's specific, testable, tells a developer exactly what needs to be done. 11 a.m., halfway through the day, a business stakeholder, let's say a VP of sales, has requested a new dashboard. You're running a 45-minute discovery session. You're not just taking notes, you're asking the questions that uncover what what they actually need versus what they asked for. Common gap, they say I want a dashboard showing all the opportunities. What they actually need is closed won opportunities by rep, filtered by the current quarter, with a drill down to see pipeline stage breakdown. Your job is to surface that gap before a developer builds the wrong thing. You leave the session with drafted requirements doc. Tomorrow, you'll convert it into Salesforce specific user stories. 1 p.m. lunch. It's halfway done. Documentation, user story writing, updating Confluence or your wiki. This is where BA output lives, the written artifacts that the team depends on. If you're also a PO, you're also doing roadmap updates, reprioritizing items based on what came out of the morning stakeholder session. 2:30 p.m. you start having the UAT coordination. A new feature just came out of dev, a custom lightning component for the service team. You're coordinating the UAT. You have written the test scripts. Now you're walking your business users through them, collecting feedback, logging bugs in Jira. This is critical but the unglamorous part of the role. Most stakeholders don't know how to run structured UAT. You are the one who makes it organized and documented. 4 p.m., you plan for the release or the admin sync. If it's the sprint close week, you're in the release planning, deciding what goes into production. You're reviewing what's tested, what's past UAT, what needs to roll over. If it's a regular week, you might have a 30-minute sync with your admin and check ongoing work, remove blockers, align on priorities. 5 p.m., end of the day, you have touched stakeholder management, technical requirements, backlog management, UAT coordination, and release governance all in one day. That's the job. It's not glamorous, it's not all strategy, but it's high impact, and organizations pay well for people who can do it all reliably. The user story is the craft that defines your seniority level. Let me show you the difference between a story that stalls a sprint and the one that ships. As a sales rep, I want the opportunity to show contact info so it's easier. That's vague, not testable. Developer has no idea what to build. Sprint stall incoming. As a sales rep, I want the opportunity record to auto populate the account's primary contact on creation so I don't have to manually search each time. Then you add an acceptance criteria. Field auto populates on creation, editable post creation, blank if no contact exists. No error thrown, works on mobile. The second version is specific, testable, tells the developer exactly what needs to be done. That's the difference between the mid level and the senior. Now, let's talk about what you actually need to be good at this role. Salesforce platform fluency. Not an admin level, but close. You don't need to be a certified admin to be a great PO or a BA, but you need to understand objects, fields, record types, page layouts, flows, permission sets, and profiles well enough to write stories that make sense. If you don't know what lookup relationship versus master detail does, your stories will be wrong. User story writing. This is the craft. Good user stories have clear actors, clear actions, and clear outcomes. They include acceptance criteria that is specific and testable. This is a learning skill, and that's what separates mid level BAs from the senior ones. Next is the stakeholder management. You're constantly mediating between what the business wants, what the tech team can build, and what the platform actually supports. This requires political awareness, communication clarity, and the confidence to push back on scope creep. Agile process ownership. If you are in the PO seat, you need to run ceremonies, own the backlog, make prioritization calls. Jira, Confluence, Azure DevOps. You need to be fluent in at least one of this. Healthcare, finance, or industry domain language. This is your edge. Salesforce is everywhere, but Salesforce in healthcare payer environments or financial services or insurance, that's where domain expertise commands a serious premium. If you have already have that background, you're more valuable than a generic Salesforce BA. So, how do you actually get into this role? Here's the honest path. If you are a BA already, get that Salesforce certified administrator credential first. It's the fastest way to demonstrate platform credibility. Then, target roles titled Salesforce Business Analyst or Salesforce Functional Analyst. Your BA skills transfer directly. You just need the platform layer. If you are a Salesforce admin wanting to level up, start writing user stories. Get involved in sprint ceremonies. Ask to be liaison between business and the dev team. You're already doing half the BA job. You just need to own the requirements side formally. If you're brand new to both, Trailhead is for free. Salesforce Learning Platform will teach you the fundamentals. Pair it with the basic Agile or CSPO certification, and you have the foundation. Target smaller orgs where one person wears both the hats. You'll learn faster. The certification stack that pays. Salesforce Certified Administrator, baseline credibility. Salesforce Business Analyst certification, released in 2023, still underutilized. CSPO or PMIACP, agile credentials that matter for the PO seat. Industry specific certifications, Health Cloud or Financial Services Cloud. That stack, paired with a real project experience, positions you at 110 to 130K within 3 to 5 years. So here's the bottom line on the Salesforce BA and PO role. It's not the note taking job, it's not a junior admin job. It's not the connective tissue between the business strategy and the technical delivery. Inside one of the most widely deployed platform in the enterprise tech, the salary is real, the demand is real, and if you already have a BA, PM, or domain experience, you're closer to this role than most people who are applying for it. Here's what I wanted to do right now. Drop a comment, tell me, do you currently work in Salesforce in your role? Or are you trying to break in? I'm building a video specifically on Salesforce certifications next, and your answers will shape what I cover. Subscribe if you haven't, because next I'm going deep on exactly which Salesforce certifications are worth your money and your time in 2026 and which ones are overhyped. Links to the Salesforce BA certification trialhead and a free user story template all in the description below. I'll see you soon in the next one. Until then, bye bye.